As we think about putting a program together, what's been super interesting and sometimes challenging for us is that really we end up living out during the year everything that the Father is asking us to write and to put down on paper. We end up living all of these different things. So this year, for example, when we're looking at Moses' journey, then, it begins to become so real in our lives, our journey with the Father, all of those different elements. And so when we think about putting together a program, we're really thinking deep, the overflow of what the Father is doing in us. It's easy to kind of look at a program and think, what are the elements that I need to put in this program to make it work? But honestly, that's kind of getting it upside down. We need to look at what are the deep things the Father is asking us to communicate. How are they real in my life? How are they overflowing from my life? And then how can I continue that into a program?
Yeah, sometimes the program can end up being words or creative ideas, but actually what we've seen over the years, it's actually an overflow of what God's been doing inside of you. And so for us, when we look at our team as well, it's always been about who they are, what's in here, because that's ultimately, you can't hide what's in here. That's going to ultimately come out in every part of the program. It's just like you said, it's an overflow. Mm-hmm. I often think as well of an iceberg. You just see the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much more that's gone on below, and that's been our story with Teen Street year after year. Is that there's so much amazing stuff that we've experienced with the Father from other people. Mm-hmm. Other people have spoken to us that we've learned through our team and the right people around us. But you only get to about this much that actually gets to be presented at Teen Street. But there's so much more under the surface that has been walked out through the course of the year. So I think that overflow is a real good thing. And for us, for a team, it's always been very important then. Their intimate, their unseen, their secret times with God is much more important, like that iceberg, than the little bit that we get to see. And that's been really important for us.
And part of that overflow is in really practical things like even praying before every throne room, every main hall meeting, spending time as a group in prayer, and even in the week before Teen Street, spending time worshiping, spending time hearing from God for each other. And honestly, we've seen that is the overflow from those meetings. It's like the Father kind of multiplies what he's doing in those meetings then in the big group at Teen Street. He's speaking in that prayer. He's releasing things in the room. It's just so beautiful. And so instead of spending all of the time right before a meeting kind of running around and putting all last things in place, we literally just stop before the Father and say, this is yours. We have done everything that we think that we can. And we're giving it to you now. And a term that we often use is that it's God's bag. So the fruit of what comes from this is God's bag. And honestly, it takes the pressure off because we can just say, hey, Father, we're giving you what we've done now, and the rest is your bag. Yeah. And so that overflow begins at the start of the writing, that it's an overflow. And as you guys look at this program, that you're receiving it for yourselves, that it's an overflow. And then that your team are also overflowing with what the Father has done. And then during the event itself, that there's an overflow of the Spirit in us. And then the Father will do what he's going to do with it. We can trust him with that.
Yeah. There's a real powerful thing that Jesus says at the end of Matthew 11, where he says, come to me if you're weary and burdened, take my yoke and learn from me. Because my burdens are easy and light. And that's what we mean when we talk about God's bag, is that we want to learn from him. And then it's up to, we do all we can, but he's the one who carries it. And one final real powerful point I think about it being God's bag is that when we've done a program, then we can also say, hey, it's God's bag. We leave that with him. The fruit is up to him, so he works in the life of the teenagers. And we can't hang on too closely to, we don't want to hold on to the successes and the failures. That's God's. We do all that we can, and we leave it with him. He carries it. The fruit is up to him. The success is up to him, and we keep moving.